to be forever a champion.
How about that? Absolute madness.
Okay, coach update. Third place, there's a two-way tie between Beretta Hansen and Christina Thielen. Second place is Casey Mintz, and first place, Drummond, Allie Rule.
And for high schoolers, third place, Ashton Marshall. Second place, Manny Marshall. And first place, drum roll, Jasmine Hansen.
Here's what we need you to do. We need you to take a picture tonight. Have your coach take a picture of you and send it to us so we can throw it out on social. And if you stop by at some point, we will give you something out of the vending machine. Congratulations.
What's up, Element? I'm so excited to be with you guys this evening. I want to start by telling you a little bit about myself when I was a high schooler. Believe it or not, I was in a lot of sports. I did volleyball, basketball, track, I even danced for a while. Now, I know I wasn't the best at everything, but I could randomly pull out a few moves. And there was one specific basketball game my junior year where I was kind of scoring a lot of points for me. And I was beginning to think, oh, I'm really good at this, like basically an NBA player. And if you know anything about this thought, or if you've been around somebody who thinks they're better than everyone else, you would know those people typically end up failing. I'm foreshadowing. Well, anyways, during this game I said I was scoring some points, I was making moves, and I got to a situation where it was 1v1, me and one other person. Now, I don't know about you guys today, but when I was in high school, when you got a charge in basketball, this was a big deal. Like, crowd went wild, your bench was going wild, everybody was just cheering for you. And so this is what's going through my mind as it's me 1v1 this other girl. I should have taken it as my sign not to do this when it ended up being their post coming down the court. And if you think I'm small now, I was smaller in high school, like 5 foot nothing, maybe 100 pounds, probably not even. And I was going up against their post trying to take a charge. Bad idea in general. But I wanted all of this glory because I thought I was all of that at this moment. And so my big moment to shine, she comes at me, I went to take the charge, I fell to the ground, boom, and I bruised my tailbone, and I end up out the whole rest of the game because I couldn't walk. Maybe you haven't been in a situation like that, or maybe you have. Maybe it was you thought you were going to get 100 on your test because you knew all of the information, so you didn't study, and surprise, when you got the test back, you failed. Or maybe you thought you were the best at a video game, and then your little brother beat you. I don't know. I feel like pride has a really funny way of humbling us sometimes. I'm going to start by reading you guys a passage from James 4, 6 through 10. This passage says, "But he gives us more grace. That is why Scripture says, God opposes the proud, but shows favor to the humble. Submit yourselves then to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Come near to God, and he will come near to you. Wash your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Grieve, mourn, and wail. Change your laughter to mourning, and your joy to gloom. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up." I'm going to read this one more time, but this time the Message version, and it will make it seem a little bit more relatable to our times, okay? Just make it make a little bit more sense. This one says, "You're cheating on God if all you want is your own way, flirting with the world every chance you get. You end up enemies of God and his way." Basically saying, yeah, you might come to church on a Wednesday night and maybe on a Sunday morning, but every other chance you get when you're with your friends or at school, you look just like everybody else. It says it makes you an enemy of God because you're back and forth between his way and your own way. And do you suppose God doesn't care? The proverb has it he's a fiercely jealous lover, and what he gives is far better than anything else you'll find. It's common knowledge that God goes against the willful proud, but gives grace to the willing humble. I'll say that one more time, okay? Listen. God goes against the willful proud, but gives grace to the willing humble. So let God work his will in you and yell a loud no to the devil to watch him make himself scarce. But say a quiet yes to God, and he'll be there in no time. Quit dabbling in sin. Purify your inner life. Quit playing the field. Hit bottom and cry your eyes out. The fun and games are over. Get serious. Really serious. Get down on your knees before the Master. It's the only way you'll get to your feet. Pride doesn't just humble us or embarrass us. The Bible tells us pride makes us an enemy of God because we think everything is all about us and we push God out of the picture. When we succeed, we say, oh yeah, we did that on our own. God didn't do that. And we do that every day in our lives, whether you see it or not. Maybe your Instagram or your TikTok, any social media platform you have, I bet 90% of your feed is for you to get glory or for people to like you and to look like you have such a good life. And I'm only giving you 10% to assume the best. I mean, how long do you spend editing your pictures? Like me personally, I will spend probably 2 hours just choosing a caption and what pictures to actually post. And it's not to give God the glory, it's to make myself look better and to get all the likes and to make people like me. And I bet most of you are pretty similar. Or maybe it's a volleyball game or a wrestling match or taking a test. Maybe a solo and band. You do all of these things for your own success and for your own glory and not for God. You might tell me, well, Allie, I actually prayed before my game or I prayed in the middle of my test or in the middle of my match. But a lot of times it's with the wrong intent. It's usually just because you want to succeed and not because you want to give God that glory. There's so many times in our lives where we make it all about us and we just continue to push God out of the picture because we think we're bigger than He is. Pride makes us an enemy of God because it's essentially us saying we're doing all of this on our own and God has no part in it, which is basically us thinking we're bigger and better than God, which is crazy in all reality. And the other part to this is not just our pride, but even when we do good things, it's usually for the wrong reasons. I would say I'm a fairly nice person and I help people quite a bit, but a lot of times it's not to point people to God. It's because I want to look like a good person and a nice person. I want people to like me. I want to read you another verse, and this is Philippians 2:3-4, and it says, let me find my spot. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself, not looking to your own interests, but to each of your interests of the others. This is saying, instead of always looking at what you want in life, start looking at what others do. Start looking how you can serve others. And Jesus is a perfect example of this. He came to the world, the Son of God. He was perfect, but He came to serve people. He came to live in humility. He came to die a painful death on the cross for us. He had no pride in it. He was humbling Himself down just to serve people like us, ordinary people. When our pride takes over, all we think about is ourselves, rather than thinking about what God wants for us. We think so much about us that we never look to serve people or to lift others up. And as I was writing this and pondering my own life, I was like, how do I know if I'm truly living a prideful life or a life of humility? And I came up with 2 questions that I've been asking myself. And I think it's good if you reflect on these as well. The first one, do I look more to serve people or to be served? And the second is, do I view myself and my tasks above other people and their tasks? What I mean is, if somebody comes to you for help, but you have a long list of things to do, are you going to tell them like, guys, look how much I have to do. No, I can't help you. I don't have time for this. But when you need help, you feel like people should stop everything they're doing to help you. What kind of life are you living? Are you living to serve people or to be served? All of this matters because when our pride gets in the way, we can't grow in a relationship with Christ or bring others to Him. John 3:30 says, I must decrease so He can increase. We must make our life less about ourselves and more about Him. And I envision this like, imagine you have a jar and you can only have a certain capacity in the jar, right? And if it's so full of yourself, there's no room for Jesus to work in you and through you because all you think about is yourself. But if you pour some of that out and think less of yourself, then Jesus can pour Himself into that jar, into the center of your life. So in order to do that, we must make things less about ourselves and more about Him. He must become greater, but that means we must become less. And when I say that, I don't want you to think you have to think less of yourself. That doesn't mean you should be harsh to yourself or say bad things about yourself. It's just thinking about yourself less. Instead of looking for people to serve you, you're thinking, how can I serve others? Again, I'm going to repeat that. It's not about thinking less of yourself, but thinking about yourself less. Now I'm going to tell you about this man named John the Baptist. Some of you may know him, some of you may not. So I want you to take a minute, just envision the person you first go to when you need help. The first person that gives the best advice, and when they talk, like people want to listen. Do you know somebody like that in your life? Well, that's John the Baptist in this scenario. During the time of Jesus, John the Baptist had a pretty big following. A lot of people wanted to listen to what this man had to say. When he talked, crowds would gather around him. The difference is, John the Baptist didn't want the attention and glory on himself. The reason he kept doing it is because every time he got to talk to somebody, he got to point them to somebody bigger, somebody greater, and that somebody was Jesus. John the Baptist didn't care about the fame or the popularity or the attention he was getting. All he cared about was pointing people to Jesus. And we should live that way too. What if we lived our lives full of Jesus to the point that when people saw us and listened to us and saw our actions, they didn't see ourselves, but they saw Jesus? What if the good news was shown through us and in us for everybody to see? Now, I'm going to give you a couple ways you can do this. One, you have to start giving him the glory when you succeed. I know that's hard. When you win a game, you're like, well, I was the one that did that. I was the one playing. It's me. But he gave you the ability to walk. If you are getting 100 on a test, he gave you the brains to do that. He gave you all of your strengths, all of your abilities, all of your skills. Yes, you might have done it, but God is the one who's giving you these things to use. So instead of taking all the success for yourself, start saying, yeah, God did that. The second thing is start serving others above yourself. And that means do good things when nobody is watching. Maybe that's helping your little siblings. Maybe that's being kind to somebody at school that doesn't have much friends. Maybe it's picking up trash outside the school. The difference is you're not doing this and then going to tell everybody about it to seem like a good person. You're doing this and then telling nobody. What if we start living our life to point people to Jesus instead of living our life to get all of the success? Again, I'm going to repeat it. We must make Jesus bigger in our lives. That means we must decrease ourselves a little bit. We must put others first and live like Jesus in humility to grow his kingdom.